going to have a light bulb go off in their head. The odds are, if it's a family of 3, 4, 5 people, somebody might have a light bulb go off in their head and get it. So I'll usually just target one person that's walking by themselves, and I do use the power of suggestion to demonstrate what it is that the president does, to demonstrate how the mainstream media is able to just repeat a lie over and over a few times, and people just start to believe it through the power of suggestion. And I'm just a guy in a t-shirt. I don't have a badge. I don't have a suit. Just from telling them, before they start to think, some of them might not have done it, might have had a light bulb go off in their head, but I derail their thinking. You can see by just repeating myself.
Yeah, but it's not just that. I mean, some of your critics say that, and sure, some of them, I mean, you're using sales tactics, but you're very calm. You repeat it 3 times. If you look at some of the liberals, I mean, these look like professors and people that are well-spoken, and they're like, yeah, we just got to put the Republicans in forced labor camps and take their guns. I've had enough of them. The guy's like, I hear you, man. You don't have to tell me. I'm sick of these people. I mean, a lot of them know what they're doing when you're saying, let's put the Jews back in ovens and for Obama. I mean, they know what they're signing. They just can't say no because you put the word Obama in front of it. You're simply illustrating that that's the cult they're in. Sorry, go ahead.
One of the petition videos was to ban any display, public display, T-shirts, bumper stickers, etc., of any religious symbols, which would be a clear violation of the First Amendment. And these liberals couldn't wait to sign up. I mean, there's no power of suggestion. They wanted to ban Christian symbols, bumper stickers, and T-shirts, and they couldn't wait to sign up fast enough for that. And then I did a petition to repeal the Bill of Rights, and then I did a follow-up just to interview people. Just to try to get the reactions. I would just tell them, hey, Obama wants to repeal the Bill of Rights, just to move us forward in the New World Order. You on board with that? Oh, absolutely. I mean, just the key word is, will you do this for Obama? And they're so liberal now that they will and want to violate the basic freedoms that we've established in this country to support their
Sure, I want to play your powerful report that's on drudgereport.com, Infowars.com, you name it, and all over Russian news, all over some U.S. news now. Beyond jaywalking, I mean, these are the real people. And I'm not insulting so-called liberals. You go to so-called liberal areas, they are the dumbest, most suggestible people on the planet. I know Republicans get pretty bad as well when they think their guy's in power. So it's kind of a mob psychology. But you call them zombies. Ted Cruz calls them the fascist left. I just call them a cult of dumbasses. I mean, I don't know what you call these people, but it's scary to know this is who's taking over America. I want to play your report. Here it is, folks.
We just need a couple more signatures. This one's to support President Obama's new plan to deal with Russia, and they're violating the UN. They're violating the UN sanctions. So we're going to launch a preemptive nuclear strike. Birth date to support the nuclear strike against Russia, and a signature. Really appreciate that. This is the one way we can maintain our superiority. Thank you so much.
No problem.
President Obama has decided to implement some new sanctions in order to prevent some trade imbalances. Print's birth date and a signature. And part of those, part of the plan to deal with Russia is to launch a preemptive nuclear strike, which will help to maintain America's superiority in the world. I appreciate your supporting a nuclear attack on Russia. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, here, just real quick, we're just getting signatures. You've seen that Russia has been threatening the United States lately and trying to flex their international muscle,
and here's the thing.
violating all sorts of treaties.
If they launch nuclear weapons at us, we're going to blow them into smithereens.
Well, this is to support Obama's plan for a preemptive nuclear strike to Russia, just to send them a message that we are still the world's first and only superpower. Just print here a birth date and a signature, just to support America.
Well,
real quick.
I have lived in America all my life.
You're an American. We need to get behind the political power. Print, birth date, and a signature to support the preemptive nuclear strike.
Disappoint me, because this is the only thing I really signed for.
Birth date to support the nuclear strike against Russia. And the patriotic thing to do these days, signature to send Russia a message with a preemptive nuclear strike. Thank you for supporting
Let's
that.
hope he doesn't disappoint me.
President's plan to launch the preemptive nuclear demonstration against Russia for violating the...
No thanks, man.
We're just trying to show support for... we need 100,000
Hit pause.
signatures to support Obama's plan.
You could tell that last guy was a vet. I mean, he looked at you like you were crazy. And that's the problem. So many people have not been in the military. They just have no idea. We're talking about the end of the world here. You ought to go out and ask him to support the end of the world for Obama. And you know, blowing the planet up to stop racism. You know, the planet's just too racist, and God tried to destroy it with water. Obama will do it with fire this time. Let's just blow the planet up for Obama. I mean, you know, that'll take care of the Ku Klux Klan. We'll kill all of them by blowing the earth up. I mean, you're right, though. This is how they can get up on TV and say there's no drone program, or Obamacare doesn't have death panels, or, you know, the TPP's public, but you can't read it, as Paul Ryan just said. I mean, it's not just the Democrats doing this. They're deploying the biggest lies I've ever seen, Mark Dice.
And you could see that last guy was happy about it. He didn't want Obama to disappoint him by not nuking Russia. And apparently these people, their brains have degenerated so far that they just can't even understand what the consequences would be. They're operating off of such a primitive, really a subhuman intellectual level, back to the primitive us versus them tribalism. They want to battle Russia. They want America to be number one. You can hear me using the buzzwords like this is patriotic.
Yeah, they think you're number one by killing 180 million people.
This is what happens in an entertainment wasteland. We have an entire generation or two now that have just been raised on television. The more brutal, the more vicious the entertainment, the more entertained they are, the more they love it. So detached from news. The only information they get is through their Instagram and through their Twitter accounts, and most of the...
Let's just say it, they're gone, they're not people.
They're subhuman zombies.
By design. I mean, they're gone. This is what the establishment manufactures now, is jellyfish heads. We'll be back. Mark Dice. Other great media analysts and activists and journalists to come on, like Charlie Skelton earlier from The Guardian, or Mark Dice of markdice.com. Mark, tell us a little bit about your new book that I haven't read yet. I've read some of your others on the Bilderberg Group.
Continuing with my Facts and Fiction series, now the latest book, The Bilderberg Group, Facts and Fiction. And it chronicles the Bilderberg Group's history, their discovery, their slow exposure, particularly the last few years, thanks to social media, thanks to people like yourself, largely, and Drudge Report now for the 5th year in a row, which has been covering it. So if you're new to this, or even if you've been familiar with it, you can pick up some serious pieces of the puzzle. A lot of people don't know that the Bilderberg Group, I mean, they have a checking account. They have to have a checking account, so they have a business entity. It's called American Friends of Bilderberg here in America, and they operate as a tax-exempt charity foundation, which means that some of their financial records have to be made public. So I've been able to get them. It shows that they're spending about $1 million a year on the conferences. It shows who the donors are. It's quite a fascinating look into the history of the Bilderberg Group. And as many of your viewers know, it's been confirmed a conspiracy fact now. And it's incredible how such an important group of people, you know, Jim Tucker has that famous quote about if 120 sports players were to meet, it would be big news. But 120 of the world's most powerful men meet in a hotel that's shut down and surrounded by armed guards and now private security, privacy fences as well. It's just not news. So you can't say this isn't newsworthy. You can't say that it's not interesting. It's certainly more powerful than the G8, the G20, or Davos, any of these major world economic forums. But the fact that there's not mention, and there hasn't been, at least for primarily the most, last 60 years, coverage or even a mention in the mainstream media, is quite obvious that there has been a plan, call it a conspiracy, an agreement between the Bilderberg Group and all American major mainstream media to leave them out of the leave them out of the news.
Sure, these are the puppet masters they don't want us looking at. Folks can find your book at Amazon.com, MarkDice.com. We should carry it at InfoWarsStore.com. We've carried a lot of your great work in the past. We're going to go to break, come back in 70 seconds, and get more into the Bilderberg Group and how they control the media and have helped turn the Westerners into such dumb idiots.
This is An American President. Just add puppet, then vote and repeat every 4 years.
straight ahead. InfoWars. 1 a.m. Then they made him come outside. And then, you know, we're doing all this to him, shining lights in his face. It was like a 45-minute interrogation. And you read the article, Guardian journalist gets midnight raid by Bilderberg police. It was like a scene from Stalag 17. The security lockdown surrounding the 2015 Bilderberg Group conference reached a new intensity last night when London Guardian journalist Charlie Skelton received a midnight visit. No, it was a raid from police who entered his hotel room, not just his hotel, demanded to see his papers after they'd already seen them 30 minutes before, and took him outside, doesn't say that, and inspected his vehicle while shining a searchlight in his face. And then it goes over it. Add to this armored vehicles roving around. We need to add that to the article. I know Paul wrote it fast, did a great job, but this is a big deal. We need to add the photo of the armored vehicle for journalists, all of it. What do you think they're freaking out so bad about, or is this Bilderberg more important than others because they're getting ready to start World War III with Russia?
You know, I think they're concerned with the advanced technology. I really think they're worried about perhaps somebody bugging the room. I think that they're panicking now because even though they can't hide with social media, with independent news agencies, alternative media like you becoming so popular, they have some serious questions to answer, and they're going to look bad no matter what. People are going to wonder, wait, so this has been going on for 60 years. How come I haven't heard about this? And in part of my past activism, I would call up to the top radio talk show hosts, Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly when he was on the radio, Glenn Beck, Alan Colmes, etc. And I would just ask them, well, first of all, they would never take the call about the Bilderberg Group, so I'd have to feed them a fake question about one of the current events of the day. And then when I was live on the air, I would ask them in a nice way, or it started off nice at least, some of the future calls were a little more accusatory, about the Bilderberg Group, just asking them, hey, can you tell everybody about this, Bilderberg Group and what they do? And all of them were just playing dumb. And so you can't tell me that these top-rated talk show hosts that have their, finger on the pulse of politics around the world don't know and haven't known for decades.
But it was worse than that, because I've heard the calls, we played them here. They would go, oh, shut up, conspiracy kook, nut, that's Mark Dice. They knew they would call you a conspiracy kook when they heard the word. They were saying it didn't exist.
Yeah, now we have footage. We have smoked them out of their holes, or published their tax returns. When Hillary was running for president back in 2008, somebody approached her at a campaign event in New Hampshire and asked her what happens at the Bilderberg Group, and took the video. It's on YouTube. I'm sure that you've seen it. Much of your audience maybe saw the video. And she said, I don't know what you're talking about. So here we have another lie. We have one of the most powerful women in the world, again, who lived in the White House, husband, former president, just simply doesn't have any idea.
She was at Bilderberg. She was at Bilderberg in 2008.
And Jim Tucker reports that she was at Bilderberg back in the 90s as well. And so we have no politicians, with the exception of Ron Paul and his son Rand Paul. Nobody has mentioned the Bilderberg Group, with, I guess, the exception of a guy named John Rarick from the House of Representatives back in 1971, who entered in the congressional record.
Well, that shows how powerful it is, Mark, that they will not talk about it.
You're not allowed to be curious or to have any questions about 100 of the most powerful men, intelligence agency officials, media executives, reporters, military brass meeting in a hotel with privacy fences set up for 3 days that's evacuated. And this is why it costs $1 million to put on this conference every year, because they have to compensate the hotel for the loss of revenue, and because hotels could have hundreds, perhaps 1,000 rooms, and nobody is allowed in there except for the 100 or the 100.
Mark, we got to get you on for a full hour to break down your new book soon. Amazing. And another full hour interview just to play highlights of the most insane stuff said by fascist, brainwashed, zombie worshiper, globalist minions that we call liberals. Thank you so much, Mark Dice. We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with us. Big news straight ahead. We're about to be talking to Larry Klayman with big breaking news until the bottom of the hour. Then, 11-year-old boy kidnapped by CPS. Parents accused after he played in the backyard alone for 90 minutes. I mean, when I was 6 years old, I was running around the neighborhood. Now it's your backyard you're taking away. There's no law. It's just that anti-state calls it neglect. We've got London Guardian reporters being raided at 1 a.m. at their hotel rooms in